So far, we have taken a look at a few important elements of storytelling and how they are used to communicate emotions to the audience. The elements being the structure of the storytelling, the various objectives of a dialogue, the conflicts, the idea of planting, and the idea of coincidences. If you are planning on skipping through the video just because it's long, don't. To explain these elements better, we have taken a look at a few movies as examples. But today, we will take a look at the film that I and most of the world consider one of the best films, if not the best, to ever exist. This movie is extremely well written and beautifully directed. I claim this movie to be the best because everything you have seen so far in the story and script writing can be found in this film. This extremely well written and visually stunning film is obviously Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Released in 2021, this movie is a cinematic masterpiece. But before we dive deep into how beautiful the film is, let's see how this movie checks out all the topics we have studied so far, beginning with the structure. Dune's storytelling structure can be considered to be in either the 3-act or the 5-act structure. But since it's the same story, the 5 acts are derived from the 3-act structure. So let's not waste a lot of time and just see the story in the 3-act structure. Act 1. The Call to Adventure. In the distant future, on the desert planet Arrakis, young Paul Atreides, the heir of House Atreides, is called to join his family as they prepare to take over the lucrative mining operation of the planet's most valuable resource, spice melange. They face political intrigue as House Harkonnen, the former ruler, relinquishes control. Paul's journey begins as he discovers his prophetic visions and the significance of Arrakis. Act 2. The Trials and Revelations. As House Atreides takes control of Arrakis, Paul faces challenges and becomes entangled in the complex political power struggles of the planet. He develops a deeper connection with the planet and its native people, the Fremen. Paul's visions intensify, and he begins to realize his destiny as a messianic figure. Meanwhile, House Atreides is betrayed, and Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica, must go into hiding with the Fremen. Act 3. The Final Confrontation. The film culminates in a final confrontation between the Fremen and the House Harkonnen, led by the ruthless Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Paul, now embraced by the Fremen as their leader, joins the battle to reclaim Arrakis. He also faces a personal showdown with Baron. The film ends with Paul's journey far from over. While this is the simple storytelling narrative of the film, pursuing it in the 5-act structure, we divide the first act into 2 separate acts, and at the end, we include an act that explains the very final moments of the film. It's basically the same, but with finer details. The dialogue. One of the dialogues delivered by Paul was so iconic that it was chosen to be in the trailers. Paul Atreides, portrayed by Timothée Chalamet, says,
"Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration."
This quote is from the novel Dune by Frank Herbert and is known as the Litany Against Fear. The dialogue encapsulates the central theme of overcoming and embracing one's fear and inner strength. It serves as a motto for most of the characters, especially Paul Atreides, in their journey to confront fear and fulfill their destinies. This quote emphasizes the importance of transcending fear to unlock one's potential. The conflicts. The film Dune is rich with various conflicts, and obviously, these conflicts drive the storytelling. Although all types of conflicts exist in this film, most of them exist in an extremely subtle way. Here are some of the key conflicts that can be found in Dune. Political power struggles. Man versus society. The central conflict revolves around the political power struggle for control of the desert planet Arrakis. House Atreides takes over the spice mining operation, leading to tensions with both the House Harkonnen and the Emperor. This conflict forms the backdrop of the story. The clash of cultures between the noble houses and the native Fremen people is also a significant conflict as well and can be considered as man versus society. Paul and Lady Jessica must navigate the Fremen culture, and this interaction adds depth to the narrative. House Atreides versus House Harkonnen, man versus man. Although both the houses are societies of their own, I've classified them as man versus man simply because of how we have never discussed society versus society. House Atreides and House Harkonnen are rivals, and their conflict is a driving force in the plot. House Harkonnen resents losing control of Arrakis and seeks to undermine House Atreides at every turn. The theme of betrayal and deception is prevalent throughout the story. Characters often have hidden agendas and ulterior motives, leading to conflicts of trust and loyalty. This can either be considered as man versus man or man versus society. Paul's internal conflict. Man versus destiny. Paul Atreides faces an internal conflict as he grapples with his prophetic visions and the weight of his destiny as a potential messiah, or as they say, Kwisatz Haderach. He struggles to understand his purpose and what is expected of him. Environmental conflict. Man versus nature. The harsh desert environment of Arrakis, with its scarcity of water and formidable sandworms, presents a constant survival conflict for the inhabitants. This environmental challenge is a key aspect of the story. Religious and spiritual conflicts. Man versus supernatural. The concept of religion and spirituality is interwoven into the narrative, as Paul's growing influence and prophetic abilities raise religious questions and conflicts among the Fremen and beyond. Paul's vision of his future and his destiny, and him unknowingly getting a few steps closer towards reaching his destiny near the end of the film, is also an element of supernatural. These conflicts contribute to the complexity and depth of the storytelling in Dune, making it a compelling multi-layered narrative. The planting. The concept of planting ideas is present in the storytelling of Dune, but it's present within the context of prophecy, power, and manipulation rather than agricultural themes. In Dune, the element of planting ideas or beliefs is particularly regarding Paul's prophetic visions and his influence over the Fremen. Paul Atreides, through his visions and actions, begins to shape the beliefs and actions of the Fremen. He plants the idea of him being their prophesied savior and leader. This notion spreads among the Fremen, influencing their loyalty and commitment to Paul's cause. The Bene Gesserit also play a role in planting ideas, as they have been manipulating bloodlines and breeding programs for generations to produce the Kwisatz Haderach, someone with exceptional prescience. Their efforts to mold the future by controlling bloodlines and prophecies involve the planting of ideas within the story's universe. The coincidences. I'll be honest and straightforward here, because the thing is, the concept of coincidences is not really a significant storytelling element in Dune. The narrative of Dune is more focused on intricate political intrigue, prophecy, and the interplay of power dynamics within a complex science fiction universe. The story revolves around the characters' decision, ambition, and actions, which drive the plot forward. While some events may appear coincidental, they are usually explained within the context of the story's universe and the characters' motivations. The narrative of Dune is more about the deliberate choices and consequences of the characters rather than relying on coincidences to advance the plot. It's a meticulously crafted and structured story that relies on cause and effect, character development, and the grand scope of the Dune universe. The conclusion. Dune is considered a perfect movie by many due to its masterful storytelling, breathtaking visuals, and exceptional performances. It successfully adapts one of the most complex source materials, blending political intrigue, science fiction, and coming-of-age elements all together. Director Denis Villeneuve's visionary direction and the outstanding cast, who altogether deliver compelling character performances and serve as the main reason for the beauty and the success of the film, whose stunning cinematography and Hans Zimmer's unbelievable score create an immersive experience. It's a cinematic achievement that captivates both the fans of the novel and the newcomers, setting a new standard for one of the most epic science fiction storytelling. The universe of Dune is weird. I cannot assure you that the upcoming sequel can outdo this film. But nonetheless, at the hands of Denis Villeneuve, the man who made masterpieces like Prisoners, Arrival, and Blade Runner 2049, I can assure you one thing. It will indeed be a masterpiece with insanely beautiful visuals and stunningly brilliant writing and direction. His movies tend to stick to our minds for a long time, and so will this. I cannot wait to watch Dune 2 in IMAX, and I highly recommend you to watch it in IMAX as well. And as always, thank you.